Okay, guys, so I hope I am audible. Is there any background noise at my end? Can you just confirm on chat, please?
Yeah, it's okay, sir. You can carry on.
Okay, that's great then. Okay, guys, so let me tell you one thing before starting your today's session. So, guys, as we have received lots of queries from the students, so we are planning to start your Cisco SD-WAN real, or we can say live batch. That batch we are starting from 10th of September, and it's a weekends batch, so your classes will happen Saturday and Sunday, and the timing is 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. IST basically. So if you are interested, you can contact on these numbers. We will basically help you with your enrollment process and all. This is the one update I am having. Apart from that, guys, if you will check our video portal here, so here guys we are having these two courses as well, like Palo Alto Firewall Interview Series and your F5 interview series, F5 Advanced Web Interview Series. If you want, you can also enroll for these two courses as well. They are also, we are providing just a free of cost. You just need to pay 1 INR. And here you will get more than 100 plus questions on Palo Alto and more than 100 plus questions on your F5 web. In the similar way, we do have a 48 question and answer sessions as well. So if you want to go for the 48 interviews and all, so these kind of sessions will help you a lot, guys. Now, the next update, let's suppose somebody is working on Palo Alto file, let's suppose, and you want to learn everything on your Palo Alto, like from basics to advanced. For that kind of peoples, I'm having, there's one more course on Palo Alto firewall advanced tech troubleshooting. It's a advanced course, guys, where you will learn lots of things basically. Even though in this course you will get to know the exact architecture of a device, of a firewall, how every feature works, like your IPsec VPN, your global protect, your URL filtering, how these features and actually works, what is the internal component we are having, what are the internal processing units we are having, how we can check these logs and everything, right? So such kind of details you will get. Even though here I have also explained the advanced version of your IPsec, your SSL, your SSL decryption, your URL filtering, how these things happens on a device, how you can decrypt your IPsec packet, how you can get these particular keys. Same thing applied to SSL, how you can decrypt your SSL packet and you can see the internal things there, right? How your URL filtering operation happens. So everything I have covered in detail. So if you will have a knowledge of this course, you will able to basically easily manage your VPN related functionalities, your URL filtering, your application ID, all these things you can able to maintain very easily. Even though you can also able to troubleshoot each and every issue. So that course will basically develop some kind of troubleshooting skill or approach for and features, guys. Okay. So in SD-WAN also, I'm just planning to do the same thing. Okay. So in your SD-WAN live batch also, I will cover the same thing. I will cover lots of troubleshooting there for each and every feature. Okay. So, okay, guys, now what I can do, let me just tell you the what are the today's topic I'm gonna discuss. So, guys, today my main focus towards your control connections, basically SD-WAN control connection, and we will also see the SD-WAN controllers bring up sequence. Bring up sequence means, let's suppose we have started your vManage, we have started our vBond, and we have started your vSmart. We have started your vBond, vManage, and vSmart, and we have started our VS. Now, how they will basically communicate with each other? What is the sequence of events basically happens during these things? We will see all these things in detail, guys. How they will create a DTLS tunnels with each other, because for communicating securely, right? In yesterday's session, we have seen that's why we have learned the cryptography, right? To communicate securely, they used to maintain the DTLS and TLS connections, right? How these connection is maintained, how they will basically validate the identity of each other, basically. So we will see the advanced things there, how with the help of your Wireshark captures, how they will basically exchange the information with each other. Okay. So now what we can do, I'll just directly jump here. If you will see, Or let me just first go into my topology. So guys, in my topology, if you will see, this is my vmanager, or this is my vmanage. These are the two vsmart controllers I am having, and I have one vbond. Now, only my vmanager is running right now in the fabric. Apart from this, I have these particular managed routers here. So this is my topology. And guys, these vmanage, vsmart devices and v1 devices, they are communicating with each other through this link, guys. Okay, they will use this particular link. Why they will use this link? Because this link is a part of the transport VPN. Transport VPN is known as VPN 0 here. This Ethernet 1 here, this interface is they are just using for the management purpose. So means if I want to log in into these devices, that time I will use the IP address of this interface. Otherwise, I will don't use this particular IP address for anything. Okay. And guys, just remember one more thing. On these interfaces, this Ethernet 0 of all the devices, vManager having the IP address 10.110.1.10. Your v1, this person, he is having IP address 10.110.1.11. Your vsmart 1 and vsmart 2, they are having IP 12 and 13. This is the switch I'm having, and on this switch I have created one SBI. That SBI having IP address 110.110.1.1, which means now they are communicating with each other through this particular switch. Okay, so this is my topology. So guys, what I will do now, let me just go through here. So if you will see, guys, on this particular diagram, I have vbond, I have vmanage, and I have vsmart, right? And if you will see, in my vmanage, I am having 4 core. What is the mean of this 4 core? Which means I'm having a CPU on this vmanager who is having 4 cores, guys, like core 1, core 2, core 3, and core 4. Which means this vmanager, if he's having 4 core in your CPU. Just guys, give me 1 minute. I think I forget to start the recording is going on. Sorry about that. Okay, so as you see here, your vmanager, it is having 4 cores, which means this vmanager can able to perform 4 tasks at the same time. It is similar to if one person get 4 hands, and by using one hand he can able to do one task. So if he has a 4 hand, then he can able to do the 4 tasks at the same time. Now your b bond. So guys, what happens when these devices, they will bring up when we will start your vmanager and we will start your v1, what will happen? So let's see this particular process first. So what they will do? Let me just go here. Let me just write down the things. So I have this space here. So let's suppose I'm having this kind of connectivity right now. Let me just decrease the size a little bit. And for now, guys, what you can think here, this guy, let's suppose this is not your VS. For some time, this is your vmanage. Okay, this is your vmanage. So what they will do when we will start your vmanage and vbond. So generally, what used to happen, your vmanage, what it will do, it will send one request towards vbond. Now your vmanager start the communication, guys, always, and he will send the first packet, which is known as client hello. And what they are using here, DTLS. Just remember, guys, they are using here DTLS. Now your vbond, he will respond with the second packet. You will see here server hello. You will get the server hello, server certificate, or we can say server certificate chain I can mention here. Okay. And your server hello done, this particular message. And after that, what they will do now, your vManager, he receive a request. So what they will do, they will exchange now the next packet, which is known as client key exchange. Where they will exchange the pre-master secret key, right? And after that, maybe on this message here, you will also see one more message, which is change hyperspec. Why I have asked you to go through with the SSL handshake video, because then only you will be able to understand. And here they are using DTLS, means they are using UDP for the communication, guys. And the fourth packet is server key exchange, or we can say we will get this packet from server side, which is change hyperspec. This is how they will basically communicate with each other. These are the packets basically they will exchange. Now, if you will see here on my topology, or let me just go into this one. So what happens, guys, in your vManage, we have a one service is known as a NMS software service. This is the application which are running on your vManager. What is the meaning of this one? Your vManager operating system is based on the Linux kernel, guys. Okay. And on top of this Linux kernel, what they are running your NMS software. This software basically provides you the vManager functionality basically. So what, when you will start your vManager, this particular server will start first. This server will start first. And after that, we will start the vBond. Let's suppose vBond is also started in the network, and we have also started the vManager, or vSmart is also started. So what they will do, you will see here, the vManage, NMS, and the vBond orchestration authenticate each other. How they will authenticate? They will authenticate each other by doing the DTLS handshake. In DTLS handshake, they will basically tell the certificate details to each other, right? And each entity, they will basically validate the certificate. And if validation is succeeded, they will basically authenticate each other, right? The vManager, MMS, NMS, and vSmart control authenticate, and after that, your vManage and your vSmart controller authentication start. And after that, your vSmart and your vBond controller authenticate each other. So what first authentication will be happening between your vManager and vBond, then between your vManager and vSmart, and after that your vSmart and vBond. Right? So this is the sequence, guys. So let's first understand this particular sequence, guys. Okay. Let's understand this sequence. So go here. So what I can do, if you want to understand this sequence, so what I will do, let me just run the captures here. So what I will do, my vManager is running, right? So what I can do, if I start the capture on Ethernet 0x0 interface, I'll see the packets, right? They are communicating with each other or not. So you will get the packets here. So let me just start it. Forget about this error on Wireshark. You will see right now descending the ARP. See, my vManager right now is sending the ARP request towards 10.1101.11, which is the IP address of your vBond, because he wants to initiate the DTLS connection with vBond. Right now, vBond is not running. So let me just start the vBond as well. So vBond is also started in the network. Always refresh the topology. Yeah, now it's started. And after some time, you will see some packets here basically, because right now these two devices, they are starting. So this is vManager, it just started. If you will run this command, you will get your NMS server is running or not. Even though if you can also try this command. Press the question mark. Application server. What? You can just see the status. So guys, if your DLS or DTLS handshake is not happening, always check the status of your application server basically. If it is stopped, you can also able to start from here, guys. What? You can able to start from here. Software. You can see the version and all. If you want to see, you will get all the results here. So you can request multiple things here. Now, press the question mark. You can run here all status. You will see all the processes which are running right now. Your database is running, your messaging is running, your coordinator is running, all these servers is running. Even though the most important thing is your application server, which is running, which means we are good to go. Now, let me stop these captures for a minute here. Now, if you will see, let me go on top. What they have done. Let me just go on top at the top here from where they have started the connection. So you will see here, you will see the client hello message, which is initiated by 10.110.1.10. This is the IP address of your vManager. This is the IP address of your vManager. And that request is going towards the vSmart. This is the IP address of your vSmart. And after that, the next message we are getting from the vSmart towards the vManager. And they are using DTLS version 1.2. And it is server hello, server certificate. See, here fragmentation is happening. So you will see this is the next message. Server certificate, server key exchange, certificate request, guys. Here server is also asking the certificate, or this guy, which is vbond, is also asking the certificate to vManager, and server hello done. Now you will see server hello, you will get all the packets here. Like that, they will basically first try to complete the DTLS handshake, guys. What? They first complete the DTLS handshake. And if you want to open these packets, basically open, you can see the detail. This is the first packet which we have received. It is having all these random numbers and all, cookies value, everything, your extension field, all these details. And here, guys, what? If you will see the cipher suit, these are the encryption algorithm here they have sent, and hashing algorithm. This is the compression method, right? If you will see the server hello packet, open the server hello packet properly, you will get here two packet, server hello. And guys, now if in this server hello, if you will see this one, so my client, he has sent the three algorithm which they can use for encryption and hashing. But your server basically what he has agreed, they will use AES 256 as an encryption algo and SHA 384 as a hashing algorithm. Guys, just remember. That's how basically they will make sure what is the encryption algorithm they have to use. Okay. And after that, other info, if you want to see, this is the certificate information. So you will not get the entire information here because packet is fragmented. So just look for this next packet, because see, this packet and this packet, they are the same. This packet and this packet, they are the same packet basically. Now just open this packet, you will get the entire certificate details of your server. So you have a certificate. This is the certificate which is provided by you 10.1101.11. This is the IP address of your vBond. Because right now, see, according to this diagram, this guy, he's initiating the request, so he become the client. And this guy, he's basically responding for the request, so he become the server. And here he will provide the server certificate. And if you want to see, you can verify this server certificate. You can look for the certificate details. Go to into the certificate here. Open this certificate 9 to 8 bytes. And here you will see signed certificate. You will get the serial number and everything. Just look for the subject details. This certificate is issued to vBond, guys. So here you are getting the vBond certificate detail. And if you go into your vBond, which is right there, let me log in here. Let me just show you which certificate he will basically present. So if you will see here, if I run this console, certificate installed. So my vBond, he is providing this particular certificate. This one. This is the server certificate. This is the signature. This is the serial number on this particular certificate. If you want, you can see these details here. You can able to verify the serial number and everything from that certificate. Let me just decrease the size a little bit. And if you will see the certificate name, see this particular name. It is the same name, guys, here. Common name. That's how we will see this is the correct certificate, guys. Even though this is the key detail. This is the public key on that certificate, basically. This is the signature algorithm they are using. This is your hashed function, basically. And you will get all the details here, guys. If you want, you can verify it properly. This is the certificate which is presented by the vBond to your vManager, right? After that, you will have a server key exchange. So here you will get the public key from the server side, basically. Signature algorithm. And you are also getting the cert. It is also sending a certificate request to vBond, right? Or to your, it is sending the certificate request to your client as well, to vManager, to present your certificate as well, present his certificate as well, basically. And after that, server hello done. Now, if you look for the next message, this one, it is having the certificate, it is having the server key exchange, all these details. Now, what the meaning of this message? Now your vManager, he is also providing his certificate details. You can see the certificate of vManage here. Common name, this is for vBond. So let me go here. This is the one, client key exchange and client certificate verify. All these details you will see. And if I'll go here on the vManager, if you run this command, so certificate install, vManager will send this particular certificate. vManage, you will see the common name is vManage. Okay. So this message is basically initiated by your vManage. Then this is the vBond message. Another vBond message, then vBond, and this is the vSmart message, right? And look for this message from the starting. Go into the certificate message and you will see the certificate of vSmart here. Sorry, vManager here. This is the vManage certificate. So like that, they will basically do the mutual authentication, guys. What they are doing the mutual authentication, because here, let me just add one more point. What? Here they will also ask for the vManager to present the certificate, or they will send the certificate request B bond will send the certificate request to V manager, and V manager provide the certificate here. V manage cert. Like that they will exchange, because this is the mutual authentication, means this person B bond will authenticate this guy, and this B manager will authenticate this B bond. Like that they will do the authentication. Okay. And after that, once basically they will basically complete the authentication. If you will see till here, they have completed the authentication, and after that they are sending some application data, and all the data is encrypted. And if you have noticed, just see the packets here. 1 2 3 4 6. This is the port basically it is using. So if you will see this diagram right there, now if I will explain you this diagram, what they will do. So guys, what happens, if you will see here, they have in your captures, you will see they are also sending multiple client hello, right? Client hello 1 2 3 4 client hello you have seen, right? Why they are sending these 4 client hello? They are exchanging these 4 client hello because on my vManager right now I am having 4 core. If I have a 4 core, what it will do? It will send the 4 messages, means each core will make the DTLS connection with this B bond, each core of my vManage. And what vManage will use port number 12346, then 12446, 12546, and 12646. These are the port numbers they will use, and all that communication is happening on the UDP. At the B bond side, you will see they will use 12346, 12346, same port, but here the port number is different. Now, how you can verify these things basically? So you have to do one thing here. You can just run here vcell, and you can just run this command net stat -n grep and your 10.110.1.11. This is the IP address of your vBond. Just put this IP address and see the UDP connections right now. So right now, this is the IP address of your vManager, 10.110.1.10, then 1.10, right? And this is the IP address of your vBond 11. And right now you will see, in my case, it has basically created the 8 connections basically, because I think, as per my knowledge, I'm using here 8 virtual CPUs. 8 virtual CPUs I'm using on my vManage. That's why it has created the 8 DTLS connection with vBond. What? It has created the 8 DTLS connection with this particular vBond, because by running this command, we will get the actual number. And we can able to see 12346, 12346, 12446, 12446, 12546, 12546. So you will get these details. Now, let me show you one more thing here. If you go like that, you will get the same details. Now, let me just do one thing here. If I'll basically try to add a B bond here, or vManage here. So when we used to add the B bond, see here I am just selecting the 4 CPU basically. But here it has a 8 connections, right? Why it is having these 8 connections? When we have verified with this command, why it is having these 8 connections? Can anyone able to answer this thing, guys? Anyone able to answer? If you go on the B bond, if you go inside the V cell, right now, Ashar, I'm not running basically to be smart. No, there's no to B bond. I just have the single B bond. No, They are just a directly connected ones, but they have a 8 connections. Why? If you will run this command netstat -n, then grep 10.1.110.10 IP address of your this one. If you run netstat like that, you will get lots of data here. So if I'll go on top, but in your B bond, I am only able to see here 4 connections. These are the 4 connections. If you go on top, let's go on top. Go on top little bit. So we have a lots of local host and all. So if I'll run this command like that, this is how guys it will build you the troubleshooting things. Because if you have a problem with these things, how you will basically communicate if any of your core is not functioning well, right? So here it is just having the 4 established connection, and go there. On top, I don't have anything, right? So it just have a 4 connection. But if I am running the same command here, netstat -n, I run the same command here, let's see, and it will clear your doubt. Go down. So we have these are the connections right now, all are in established state, right? All are in established state, and they have created with the B bond only. What is the reason? I suggest guys do one thing. You can just search for that issue. Okay. Or maybe in your next class, I will basically answer. So do your R&D. Why they are having 8 connections we can see here and 4 connections we can see on the B bond. Why? Okay. Just look for the answer of this thing. Okay. On your next class, I will tell you what is the reason. Cool. So guys, if there is any problem with this particular issues, or if there is any issue with B bond or V smart or V managed connectivity, how you will basically do the troubleshooting for that? What you will do? You will always check these connections are established or not. If like let's suppose your V manage and V smart, they are not able to communicate. Or let's suppose you have this case. One example I am giving you. Let's suppose this is my firewall. This is the inside interface of my firewall, Ethernet 1x2. And let's say here I have my vManage. We do have one more interface on firewall, which is Ethernet 1x3. Let's suppose this is inside interface. And let's say this is DMG interface. And on DMG, I am having my B bond. And this use case you will see a lot in the industries. If you go for the on-prem deployment, this use case you will see your B bond and V manage, they always sits behind the firewall. Now, if there is a problem with the communication of B bond and V manage, what you will do? You will allow these ports, right? You will allow these particular ports, then only they will able to make the connection with each other. If you are not able to, if you will not allow the UDP ports through the firewall, they will not able to communicate, right? So that is also one of the biggest reason. If your firewall is blocking these connection, netstat is the best command. If you will run that command, you will get the details. you will get the detail. Okay. Now, apart from this, guys, so we have seen this entire communication which is happening between vManager and your vBond. Now, the next thing what I want to show you, and after that, what they will do, if I'll start my, let me start the capture on my vSmart Ethernet 0 interface again, and let me start my vSmart as well. So I've started my vSmart here, and let me start the capture on vBond. Now we will see the process, how vSmart will do the communication, guys. So this is the another Wireshark I'm running. So I'm running two Wireshark right now. This is the one, and this is the second one. And what I will just put the filter of IP ADDR equals 10.1.110.12. This is the IP address of my vSmart, because I am just interested to see the packets which is coming from that particular device. Go here and just put the details. Let's wait. So let's see. Let me try to log in on vSmart and we will see the details. I have logged in. I'll go into the vShell. Or let me just see what is the IP address of this guy. So running configuration VPN 0. It is having 10.110.1.12. Then vShell. IP.addr equals to 10.1.110.12. No packet. No packet. Netstat -n. I will use the grep keyword. Then 10.1.110.11. There's no connection with vBond. Let's see. No connection with the vSmart as well, or with the vManager as well. Now let me just see here. I have added or not. Let me just first verify. Controllers. Yeah, controllers is installed. Things are good here. Exit. Ping VPN 0. 10.1.110.10. So running VPN 0 looks like I don't have a proper configuration. So I have a IP address. I have this guy as well. Ping. VPN 0. 10.1101.1. Let me just ping the next two. So ping is not happening, guys, for this guy, which means there is some problem here with this particular vSmart. Okay. So sometime, guys, because see, these are the some heavy devices. So sometimes you will face some challenges with them. Let me just stop this one. I have just started another one. Let me just start this guy as well again. Let's see what will happen this time. Sometime your EVNG will not respond properly, so you will not get the proper results. Okay. So always you have to, sometime you have to be in patience, guys. Meanwhile, it is coming. It's not ready. Admin. ping VPN 0 10.1.110.10. I have one connected route. I do have a default route as well. Let me just see if I am having any problem on this switch. So IP interface brief, because sometime it is not able to communicate at the, so VLAN. Okay, all ports are in VLAN 1 only, which means they will communicate. Let me just open this guy. Admin. So running VPN 0. I have the configuration and IP address is 10.1101.13. Ping 10.1101.13. So what I can do, I can just ping to 10 here. Yeah, this guy is working. See, from here it's not working. So some issue with this particular vSmart. So now I have to stop it. And I have to start it. And now if I'll go here, if I'll put here 13, here also 13, no packets. Let me go into my vSmart 2. Because I have added the vSmart 2 as well here, and this certificate is also installed on this one. Then they will communicate. I'm not sure why they are not able to communicate with each other. I can see there is a packet between 10.110 IP.addr equals 10.1101.12. Guys, I was putting their wrong IP address previously. You will see here now. There is one DTLS connection, right? DTLS communication is also happening, and this communication is happening between your vSmart and your vManager, right? These are the packets between your vSmart and your vManager, guys. Client hello, server hello, right? They will make the DTLS connection. And if you go here, because see, I was putting wrong IP address, it is 10.1101.12. And after that, you will see they've started the communication with the B bond basically. So B bond IP address is 10.1101.11. 12 is your vSmart IP address. This is how they will start the communication. So how vSmart will do the things? If you go here, so now your vSmart first, this guy, he will authenticate with the vManager, and after the authentication with vManager, he will authenticate with the vBond. That's how this particular process happens. And guys, just remember one thing, your vBond always runs on UDP. Means always you have to create a DTLS tunnel only. But guys, between vManager and your vSmart, you can create a TLS tunnel or DTLS, both options you are having. By default, they will create a DTLS, but if you want, you can create a TLS tunnel as well. Okay, so in your interview, they will ask this question. In your SD-WAN controllers, which controller can communicate over the TLS? And your answer is vManage and vSmart. By default, they are not, but if you will change the setting, they are able to. Now, if you go in the vCell this time, I'm not going on the certificate details, guys, because already shown netstat -n grep 10.110 put here and see the connections now. So if you will see here, this IP address, this is your V1 IP address, this is also your V1 IP address, and this is also your V1 IP address, this is also your V1 IP address. So because guys, in your vSmart, basically it has a 2 core of CPU. So generally in logical way, it will create only 2 tunnels, but here you can see you are seeing here 4. Why you are seeing 4? So on that, I will basically answer on your next class. Okay. And after that, it is having 1 tunnel with vManager, which is this one. And guys, you will see your vSmart 2, it is also having 1 tunnel with vSmart 1. With each other as well, they will create 1 tunnel, because here we are having 2 topologies. Where here in our topology, we are having 2 vSmart for the redundancy purpose. So if you will see, because here this is having 2 core, so it will create 2 tunnel with your V bond, and it will create 1 tunnel with your V manager using DTLS, and these are the port numbers they are using. Okay, so that's how guys your controller, they will authenticate each other, and they will basically create the DTLS tunnel with each other. Now there is a few more things you have to basically look. So this particular slide will explain you the communication, which mean your vSmart and vBond. So let me increase the size. So when vSmart comes up, it initiate a connection to vBond. It's a two-way authentication process, which means your vSmart will authenticate your vBond and your vBond will authenticate your vSmart. And a DTLS communication established between both of these guys. Now let's see how they will communicate. I think these images are visible, or do I need to increase the size more? Okay, now I think everyone able to see. Can just someone confirm on chat, guys? Are you able to see? Okay, that's great. Cool. So if you will see in this diagram, we have a vSmart and we have a vBond. So your vSmart will authenticate the connection. It will say authenticate me. How it will ask this vBond to authenticate? What he will basically sends the client hello message, and after that this vBond, what he will do, he will say you are valid. Now vBond also ask your vSmart just authenticate me, and your vSmart will authenticate vBond, and he will say you are valid, and after that they will create one DTLS tunnel. Now guys, see the process here, the detailed process here. What they will do here, so let me just go like this. When basically your vSmart, what he used to send, so let me just write the communication here, guys. Your vSmart, this is your vSmart and this is your vBond. He will send the client hello message, and after that your v1, what he will send the server hello, right? Your v1, he will send the certificate as well. So that's why what your v1, what he will send the trusted root CA signed certificate. This certificate he will send, and v is authorized serial number file as well. And your vbond, he will also send one of the file to your vSmart, which is v as authorized serial number file. Now when vSmart receive this detail, what he will do, he will verify the organization name, and he will verify that this particular certificate is valid or not with the help of root certificate. And if These both things, let's suppose you have an organization name here, something else, and organization name something else. That time your validation will fail here. If your certificate having any problem, if your certificate is not issued by the trusted root authorities, in that case your certification will may fail. If that certification will fail, that time they will not able to, your tunnel will not come up. If everything is fine, they will create one DTLS tunnel, but it's a one-way SSL authentication tunnel. Now, in the next thing, your vSmart will also present his certificate. He will verify the serial number, verify the organization name. Now, what is the serial number, guys? What is the serial number? And what is this? V is authorized serial number 5. So, guys, just remember one thing. Let me just tell you. When your V1 basically, it will authenticate, or your V manager, when they will authenticate with each other, your V manager will forward one serial file here. That serial file have the details of all your devices. If you go here, you will see this particular serial file. It is having these serial numbers and all this. So this file basically your V manager will send to your V bond, because first V bond will come in a picture, right? If you will go into the devices, if you go into the controllers, or if you go into the certificate, see this particular details they will basically send. You will see send to the controllers. Now that file will send to your controllers. So they will verify this particular serial number, because if you will see here into your vSmart, if you run this console, exit, so certificate serial, if you run this command, your certificate has this serial number. They will basically verify this serial number. They will verify, guys. Okay. Your B bond also have the same thing. If I'll go into the B bond, if I run this command, you will able to see the so certificate serial. See, it is also having this serial number, right? So these serial number, how they will get this serial number? They will get that serial number from the vManage, because they have these serial numbers here. If you will see, your certificate serial number, it is these values are matching. Let's just see. So just look for B bond. B bond serial number is starting with F21, ending with 2C5. F21 ending with C2C5. This is the correct one, right? So this serial number they will verify, because first authentication happens with the V manager and it will send these files. If you will see send to B bond, right? You will have that option, right? It automatically send basically. If you will go here, if you run this command, so certificate, there is a one command actually right now not on my top of my head, but that command also we can able to run it. So I think this command is so valid. I forget the command basically what's that, but there's a one command we can run that command and we can see the details, guys. Okay, so I think orchestration, yeah, this is the command valid vSmart. See, they have the vSmart details. These are your vSmart. We have two vSmart and we have all the serials here for your vSmart. Even though it has a vManager as well. Valid vmanage ID. You can able to see this is the vmanage ID. It is having chassis number of your vmanage. This chassis number is starting with FD. This is a UID number. It is also known as chassis number, guys. That's how they will basically validate each other with the help of this value. That's why they have mentioned what he will send the v as authorized serial file as well. So guys, that file it will by default update to v smart. Okay, and it will send the trusted root setting authority as well, and that's how they will basically do the validation and all. Now your vsmart and vbond, they will verify the serial number, organization name, and after the successful authentication they will create a DTLS tunnel. So that's how your vbond and vsmart communication happens. If you want, you can see this particular communication on your captures as well. These are your Wireshark captures. So they have a client hello message and all. You can able to see all the details on these messages. Server hello, then you will have a certificate, this one, right? You can see the certificate details. That certificate have the serial number, right? F2196. And this particular certificate is for, see the detail, this is for B bond. So this is the B bond serial number basically, and they will validate the serial number. So that's how that validation happens, guys. Okay, I'm not going on that much depth here, but that is the enough information basically which you should know. And if you know that details, if there is any problem with the bring up process of your controllers, you can able to troubleshoot. Now authentication between vsmart and vsmart, they will also authenticate each other, right? If in our overlay we have a multiple vsmart controllers, then they also authenticate each other to synchronize the OMP routes. vSmart will receive a copy of authorized vSmart list after reaching out to vBond to then establish the communication with the vSmart. So they will start like that. As a one vSmart authenticate with the vBond orchestrator, and vBond orchestrator send the vSmart controller the IP address of the other vSmart, and after that they will start the communication by the same way. Okay, so that's how this communication happens, guys. Now this vBond and all this part I will discuss in a while. So guys, anyone have any questions with regards to this diagram, how they will communicate with each other? Now, what I will do, so I have written the things here. All controllers make permanent DTLS connection with each other, guys. So just remember one thing. Just remember one thing. If I'll explain you the overview of these connections, you can see this picture here. In this picture, you will see we have a B bond, we have a vSmart, and we have a vManager, and we do have a one VS. So guys, these connection we have already seen. We won't make one connection with vSmart or two connections, right? We won't make 4 connection with vManager like that. And your vManager and vSmart, they will make one connection using DTLS or TLS, and your vManager and vBond, yeah, these are the connection only, right? All the devices, they have a connection with each other. And apart from this, guys, they will also create a connection with VS routers basically. How this particular connection flow happens, that's the part of our discussion, guys. What? That's the part of our discussion. So now let's see, guys, how your this part we have already covered. Now let's see how DTLS tunnel maintain between your VS and your controllers, guys. So your vSmart and your WAN is uses the OMP protocols, right? If you will see in this diagram, this particular VS and your vSmart, if they want to exchange anything, they will exchange through this tunnel, and major information which they will exchange, which is OMP information. Your vman is what he will send. If he will communicate with this VS through this particular red DTLS tunnel, and what he will send the, he will communicate using SNMP protocol. Using netcom protocol, using your SSH protocol, it will use these particular protocols basically for the communication purpose, because he wants to push the configuration and all. Now, always remember guys, I'm giving you the broader way here. Your V is routers, WAN is routers. They will create a temporary connection with your VBond basically. And this is the first device with whom they will establish the DTLS connection. And when this device provides the detail of your vSmart and vManage, what they will do, these WAN is routers, they will create a permanent connection with your vManager and vSmart. Just remember. So your permanent connection, you always say in between vSmart and vManager. Okay. Now, so your vSmart and VS, they will create a DTLS connection to exchange the OMP information, or overlay management protocol information, or OMP updates basically. Your TLOC updates. So we can say OMP routes, then your TLOC routes and your service routes. Your vManager uses the netcom protocol to push the configuration to VAN's devices. It will use SNMP to collect the data, and they will use ICMP echo request and reply to detect the V is available or not. So your vManager will use ICMP, traffic, SNMP, and your netcom. These traffic, these protocol it will use for the communication purpose. And they will creating this DTLS tunnel to secure the communication of these particular protocol, because these protocol, they will not offer any kind of security. Every VNS router establishes one or more secured control tunnels to each SD-WAN controllers. The tunnels are secured using the DTLS or TLS protocol, guys. Now, let's basically discuss how this particular control connection is maintained with the B-bond device. How they will create a control connection with the B-bond device. So, once we power on our VH router, what it will do? First time, it will basically try to find out the IP address of your B-bond, right? And how it will get the IP address of B-bond. Either we can use the JetTP, or plug and play, or bootstrapping, or bootstrap configuration, or we can just manually configure the IP address of B-bond on your controller, on your VANS routers basically. Once this VANS routers basically get the IP address, what he will do? He will basically tries to establish the DTLS control tunnel with the B-bond IP address over each available transport interface. So let's suppose in our topology, guys, here, let's suppose this WAN is, I have this branch of his router, and these are my controllers. So now this device, when I will power on, what he will do? When I will power on this device, the first connection he will basically try to establish with the B bond, right? How it will establish the B bond? It will basically try to communicate over this medium, this path, and also this path basically. Means whatever available transport we are having. So we are having MPLS and your internet. So it will use both transport, guys, for the communication. What? It will use these both transport for the communication. Okay. Do not confuse. And why it is using both transport? Because, guys, once this particular device got authenticated against B-bond, it's a responsibility of your B-bond is to find out if this device is behind the net gateway or it is behind any net IP address or not. So this thing they will basically validate by using both the transport. Okay, go here. So in case of MPLS internet, if we have both transport, then it forms the DTLS connection to the B bond over the internet and also over the MPLS cloud. It will authenticate itself over each control tunnel and find whether it sits behind the net device along the path. Now B bond will send back a list of IP address and port numbers of your SD-WAN controller, which is your vSmart and vManager. So once your WAN device gets authenticated successfully against the B bond, what it will do, your B bond, it will provide the IP address of your SD-WAN controller, which is vSmart and vManager. Apart from IP address, it will also provide the serial number of your vSmart and B bond, guys. Just remember. Now, both the DTLS connection are then terminated because the WAN routers does not need to keep a permanent control connection to B bond. So guys, after getting the IP address details of your vSmart and vManage, your WAN routers, what it will do, it will try to terminate the DTLS connection with your B bond. That's why, guys, they have mentioned here. If you will see this diagram, let's suppose I have here 3 WAN routers and I have 2 transport, internet and MPLS. What it will do? It will try to establish with both the transport. And it is just creating one transient connections. It's not a permanent connection, guys. Okay. And it will remove that particular connection as well. It will terminate. Let's see this particular process, guys. It will not take much time. What I can do, I'll go to my topology here. I'll start this router. I'll start this one. And I'll start this guy as well. Let me close this Wireshark captures. Come on, let me just close it. I don't want to save. Quit. Let me quit here as well. Now, let me start this. And I'll go into B bond and I'll start the, or let me just start the capture on this gig 0y1 interface. So I will get the details. So I will able to see all the communication which is happening between this particular VS and your B bond. And right now, guys, as per my knowledge, I have not configured this interface, basically your MPLS one. So I think you will only able to see one tunnel basically through the internet only. Because as I remember, I have not done that part on last time. Let's wait. It will take some time to come up. Meanwhile, this is the traffic this is the thing we can able to see here. And we will see all this process, guys. Now system is ready. Admin. So running configuration VPN 0. Let me see. I just have one interface configuration gig 0y1, guys. So what it will do, it will try to make one connection through this interface only. And the IP address of this device is 10.61.1, right? I'll go here and I'll just type IP.addr equals to 10.61.1. And let's see. Let's just wait here. So he can able to communicate with all the controllers and we will basically verify everything. Okay. Same thing if you go here now, if you run this command vcell, you can also able to run this command netstat -n now. You will get big output here. Best way, go with the grep option. Grep 10.110. You will see it has a 3 connection. With vManager, with vSmart, and B1 connection, it has just terminated. You will see removed. And but if you will see the captures, go on the top here. See where it has started the first connection. It has started with 10.1101.11. They started communicating with the B bond basically. They just got authenticated with each other. And after that, they've exchanged some application data. And this application data, what they are exchanging the information of your vSmart and your vManager controller. And after that, you will see it will start the communication with your vSmart and also your vManager. At the same time, it has started these three connections, guys. See, all three connections has started at the same time. Okay, so that's how it will do the communication, guys. If you go here, so after getting the IP, what it will do? It will basically, now both DTLS connection are terminated and VH router does not need to keep the permanent connection. Now let's see control connection to vManage now. Once VH routers receives the list with the IP address of all the SD-WAN controllers from vBond, it initiate a single persistent DTLS connection to vManager over only one transport, guys. Now, what is the meaning of this over only one transport only? So in our topology, if you will see, let's suppose, guys, this is the interview question as well. Let's suppose this interface is also configured with some IP address and this also. And now this guy, he wants to start the connection with vManager. So when he will start, what he will do, he will only start with one transport only, guys. In our case right now, it is using this transport, but in actual, if this interface also configured, will use this particular transport for the DTLS connection. Why it will use this transport? Because what it will do, you have a two transport here, so it will check for this port number. It always check for the port number value, and you will see here we have value with gig 0x0 and 0x1. So lower port number value it will basically always consider for the communication purpose. This question they will ask in the interview basically in most of the time. Okay, so your VNS router always create a single connection with vManager. Just remember, guys. Let's see. So VS tries every transport network starting with the interface having the lowest port number value, and it keeps the first successful established connection permanently. If VS lost the connectivity to vManager over this DTLS connection, then what it will do that time, it will use the another interface. So let's suppose in our case, it has started the connection from here. Let's suppose if they due to any reason this transport become reachable, then it will start the connection again from this transport as well. Okay, right away. So it will always use this lower interface, but in right now my this interface is not configured, so that's why it is using this one. Guys, why it is not considering these interface? Because these interface are a part of service VPN, guys. Okay, because it is considering these interface because these interface they are a part of transport VPN, which is known as VPN 0, which is by default VPN, which is a transport VPN. Okay, so that's how they will basically create a connection with your vManager. If you want to see the details, go here, see the details. Same thing. We have vNAS routers here. They can use internet maybe. Now first go, if this goes down, that time they will use the MPLS. And right now you will see all are using internet. If this internet become unreachable, that time they will use the MPLS for creating the connection. So we is form and keep only one permanent control connection to vManager. It will always have a just a one or single connection, guys. Okay, so do not confuse with that. Now let's discuss the next thing, which is your control connection to vSmart basically. So VS router initiate a persistent control connection to vSmart controller over each transport interfaces. So guys, in our topology here, let's suppose this part is also configured, then what it will do, it will try to create the DTLS connection over all these transport with your vSmart, these peoples. Let's say right now vSmart 1, they will create the control connections using both the transport basically, and both tunnel is in active state all the time. We establish a DTL tunnel to vSmart through all the transport, the internet and the another one through the MPLS cloud at the same time. Single control connection to the controller is sufficient. Even though single control connection is sufficient between your WAN is routers and your vSmart, but because see your vSmart, it is sending the your critical information, your routing information, your policies information and all, right? That's the reason they will create, they will make active both the tunnels basically. So if there's any problem with one, they will use the another one for sending the OMP updates basically. Okay, so VH keeps one permanent details tunnel per transport interface for the control plane high availability or resiliency. When his router establishes at least one DTLS control connection to vSmart, it is start a single OMP peering. So guys, once the DTLS tunnel is established, what they will do, they will start the OMP peering with each other. The router then advertise its local network, TLOCs, service routes to the controller via OMP. Upon receiving the information, the vSmart controller calculates the centralized routing information base based on the defined policies and redistribute the routing information to all the WAN devices using OMP update. So once your DTLS tunnel is established between WAN routers and your vSmart, what it will do, it will basically start updating the routing details and all. So that's how basically your control connection is established between these devices. Controllers, vSmart and V1 devices. That's how they will basically establish the connection with each other. Now, control connection overview, guys. So what they will do, one transient DTLS control connections to the V1 orchestrator over each connected WAN transport basically. Okay. So one DTLS connection they will create with V1. If you have a two transport, then they will create a two DTLS tunnel, but this is for temporary only. This is the summary of it. One permanent DTLS connection they will create with vManage over single transport, and one persistent DTLS connection they will create with vSmart over each transport basically. If you will run these commands, so control connection, also OMP peering, you will get the details. If you go here, if you run this command, so OMP peering, you will get, it has the OMP peering with both of your vSmart. If you run this command, so control connections, you will get some lengthy output here, guys. See, if you will run this in a tabular format, you will get in tabular format as well. vSmart, we have a two vSmart, so two connection with vSmart and one with vManager, right? So these are the command which we generally use. Okay, cool. Now guys, your C is bring up this particular, they have a lots of things basically. So let's basically discuss now how, or let me just basically explain you in detail how your WAN routers basically, when it came online, it will basically start communication. How it will start communicating basically. So what it will do, I'll go here. And this is the last topic for today, guys. This is for vSmart. And let's suppose if you have 3 transport, then they will create a 3 DTLS tunnel with vSmart. This is the connection overviews and all, guys. Now, let's discuss the one more thing here. I don't want on this one basically. What I can do, let me just erase this values. Let me just erase, because here I want to explain this thing in detail, because most of the time I have seen people stuck on this particular troubleshooting. So I'm just cleaning. So we have a vBond, and let's suppose here I have a VNS basically. This is the VH. This is the V as router one, let's suppose. This is the setup right now I am having. Now, let's understand the things. So I will take the help from here. So in step one, what they will do, in your V is basically we have to do some configuration basically. So what is the configuration it needs? It's need the configuration, which is your organization name, serial number, device certificate. So we have to generate the certificate and we have to install. It also need the trusted root certificate. It need the IP address. It's need the bond IP address or FQDN, and the default gateway, DNS and NTP. These are the some configuration we have to do on your WAN is routers basically in first time. And if you will see my router, so running system, it is having all this configuration. It is having the host name, system IP, site ID and all, organization name it is having, time zone it is having, and it is also having the most important thing, which is bond IP address. Right? And apart from this, it is also having some configuration, which is also known as your IP address. So he can able to communicate, and your default gateway. DNS detail I don't require, because I have just directly configured the IP address of my bond. If you will configure FQDN, that time you have to basically define the DNS detail as well. Okay. Now, in the case of bond FQDN, so if we have configured the IP address of, we have configured the FQDN of your bond, in that case, what you will do, your WAN is routers, when it will come in the, and this device comes online, what he will do, at the first time, what it will do, it will basically create a DNS query to DNS server for bond IP address. This is the first thing it will do. Your DNS server respond with the bond IP address. So let's suppose he has get here 10.110.1.11. And after that, what it will do? After that, your VS router, it will start the DTLS connection with bond. It will initiate a DTLS connection with the bond IP address. The bond send its identity certificate along with the root CS certificate to VS. And VS also send its identity certificate along with the root certificate. Both validate the certificate of each other with the help of root CA. Now what they are doing, they will basically validate the certificate of each other, right? Which means they will successfully create the DTLS tunnel. Now, these are the captures, guys, which we are having between this particular handshake. These are the captures, right? The communication, which mean your WAN is router and your vBond, and you can see the details. Your certificate exchange is happening on these packets. Both your B won't send his certificate, and after that your Vanish he has updated his certificate details. Even though if you will see the Vanish certificate details, you can open this certificate detail, you will get the serial number and all these things. You have a serial number. This is the serial number of your Vanish router, and you can validate the serial number from here as well. This Vanish list basically. You can able to validate this particular serial number from here as well. And right now my Vanish for Dubai, it is having serial number is ending with 340 and ending with 340. This is the serial number it has updated. And after that they will do the some client key exchange and all. Let's see here. So if you go to into this message, basically this message is basically sent by the B1 towards your Vanish. Basically if you go into this message, if you will put like that, now let's basically see the content on this message. So here also you will see here certificate request. So this he is sending the request, and you will see the certificate details here as well from the B bond. This is the B bond details, and you will see the this serial number for B bond, and they will use this particular serial number for the validation purpose. And your guys in your subject, if you will open the subject, here you will get the organization name, which is Sianets.com. So this organization name also they will validate, guys, just remember. So now let me just, I have put here, so let's see. Now during the certificate validation phase of the above communication, what we want, look into the VS certificate and checks the serial number content in it, and it will basically check that serial number against the authorized list it has received from the vManage. Which means, what the meaning of this statement? It is basically checking the serial number which we have received on the VS certificate. So if you go here, this is the certificate is presented by my Vanish router, and look for this serial number, right? And if you go here on your V1 device, if you run this command admin, so orchestration valid V is, if you run this particular command, you will get the list of your valid, come on, pallets vs serial number. You will get all the serial number here. And guys, on this request, what is the serial number we are receiving? C47F2340. So this serial number he will validate from here, because it is having that particular list, guys. It just validate from here like that. Your validation will happen. If there is any problem with the serial number, what will happen? Your communication will break here, guys. Your communication will break here. Now, if the serial number is not on the list, then the tunnel is toned down and an error is logged, basically. And if you will run this command, you will get the serial number of your certificate. And you can run this command on your V1, you will get the details. And we have seen on the Wireshark, right? They are communicating, they are sending the same detail. Now, we has also take a look at the certificate presented by the B bond and extract the organization name from it. And this needs to be matched with the organization name that we have configured locally on the VS. So if you go into your VS, which is this one, what is the organization name we have configured here? So organization name is Sianets.com, right? And if you will see here, if you will go to into the server certificate, which is B-bond certificate, and you will see the organization name, which is this one. This is the organization we have received. So my Vanish router, it will look for this particular organization name. If there is a mismatch, then they will basically drop the packet. That's how they will basically validate the thing. And this organization name should be identical on all the devices. Otherwise, your fabric will not come in a picture. Now, after successful mutual authentication, vBond sends the IP address of your vManager, vSmart along with their serial number, and vBond also update to vManage and vSmart that a new S has joined the network and that they should expect a incoming connection. So what will happen when guys both these peoples they've authenticated successfully with each other? What they will do, your vBond it will update to your vManager and vSmart as well. This is the guy. This is the WAN is router. I have authenticated him successfully. Now you may expect the connection. So they will basically update this information like that. Now, DTLS between our VANs and vBond is no longer required. So they will tear down. And after receiving the vManage and vSmart IP address and the serial number from vBond, your V is once again initiate a DTLS connection towards vManager and vSmart. So if you will see here, guys, on these messages, they will exchange the details of your vManager, serial numbers and everything. And after that, you will see your connection they have started at the same time with all your three controllers. So this is the guys detailed explanation. Now certificate are exchange, mutual authentication is happen, right? Now you can able to validate all the things. vSmart and vManage validate the VANS certificate using their root CA and extract the serial number from it, and they will compare their authorized list. We has also validated the vSmart and vManage certificate using its root CA and extract the serial number and organization name from it to compare with its authorized list and configured organization name. Like that, your bring up process will happen, guys. If you go here, if I increase the size a little bit, you will see the same thing. On the vBond certificate, what they are verifying the organization name, and they will basically also validate against the root CA, and your DTLS connection is established. Now, your VANS router, he will present what? He will present the serial number, chassis number, my trusted board ID for certificate, right? And the private key as well. And after that, he will verify the serial number, random value, everything. That's how they will basically communicate with each other. Now, this is with vManager basically. Okay. So maybe guys, what I will do, maybe in some another class, I will able to decrypt these messages as well. So maybe what we will do, maybe in some another webinar, we will decrypt these messages and we will see what are the encrypted content is going on there. Okay. So this is guys all about what I want to discuss with regards to your today's class. Let me just stop